Yeah, happy Good Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Another week on the books for staying home. All right, so we didn't want to go out today because it was a beautiful day, and you know, who would want all that? So anyway, we're gonna cook a few things right from the pantry and from the fridge. We got a food delivery yesterday for some fresh local produce. I got some Swiss chard, some beautiful Swiss chard. I've got some mushrooms. We got some shiitake mushrooms and some portobello mushrooms. I still have lots of garlic and onions, and and I have some baby potatoes. So we're gonna roast up some baby potatoes, and I'm gonna make some quinoa. So you could do quinoa, farro, pasta, maybe make polenta or grits or anything. And it depends on how much time you want to spend in the kitchen. Of course, if we start with our quinoa, that's only 15 minutes start to finish. So I just opted for that. So hope everybody got to church online today. It's Good Friday. So anyway, this is my Jesus meal. All right, all vegetarian today. So where are we gonna start? I guess we'll just start with the quinoa and get that out of the way. So I have some tri-colored quinoa, and tri-colored is fun. You could do white, you could do red, you could do black quinoa, all of those, put them all together, and you have tri-colored. So isn't that lovely and delicious? So what did I do with it? Okay, so measure out your quinoa 1 cup at a time. The best way to make quinoa is 1 cup at a time, because the whole idea of quinoa is to fluff. And if you have too much quinoa, it'll weigh it down. Just kind of think of it like rice, or a substitute for rice, actually. And quinoa is is high in protein. It's really easy on the digestion, and it's very versatile. You can put it with anything that you would use rice with. And anyway, so you want to rinse that, and then the way you want to rinse it, a couple different ways. You could pour it into here, you could pour it into your pan, and swish it around in there with some cold water, and just get it rinsed, because a lot of times it doesn't come already rinsed. So you want to make sure it's rinsed, because there's a naturally occurring protective covering on that, or a protective substance on there. So, all right. So we have rinsed quinoa. So for every 1 cup of quinoa, we're going to do 2 cups of water. So if you can boil water, you can make quinoa. Isn't that exciting?
Say hello to Cindy.
Hey, Cindy, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So we had to start a little later because our friend Caroline was having a concert outside, and everybody was 6 feet apart, and it was awesome. Caroline and the Ramblers. Oh, I girl crush on her voice is amazing.
Say hello to Ann Catherine.
Yay! Hey, Annie Banani. All right, so we're gonna take that quinoa. We're gonna put it on our burner, and we're gonna put it on high. So we're gonna bring it to a boil, and about 3 minutes on there. And then when it comes up to a boil, we're gonna turn it down to a simmer and put a timer on it. So 15 minutes start to finish on quinoa, and it's awesome. It's delicious. It's very versatile, and it is gluten-free. So high in protein, because why? It's actually a seed. So we use it as a grain in this country. It usually comes from Bolivia, and we've managed to make it a good staple in our everyday American lives. So anyway, all right, so we got that going. Next up, I've got some awesome little baby potatoes, and these are, 3 different colors here. So I'm just gonna have them. So I've got purple, white, and a little yellow, and they're so delicious and lovely and really easy. So I just rinsed them, and we're gonna have them, and then toss them in a little bit of olive oil and some salt and seasoning, and if they get a little big like that, you can also put them in quarters. So anyway, and you can do a lot with these too. So these being left over, we can use them for brunch tomorrow, and it'll be like instant food. Yes, with eggs and things, or a brunch for Sunday when we watch Bocelli. Is that how you say it? Bocelli? Andrea Bocelli. We're all going to watch him sing Easter songs and make us feel good and cry. And oh gosh, his voice is just amazing. So anyway, so because we can't go to church, so I have to tell my mother. I constantly have to tell Mom, you can't go to church. They don't want you there right now. I said the Pope has forgiven you. So I wonder if she went to church today. Hopefully they didn't let her in. So anyway, she's doing well. She's hanging in there. We think she's sneaking out and like going to the grocery store and not telling us because she doesn't want to get in trouble. So Mom, if you're sneaking out, we got spies on you, man. So, all right, so we got a nice little bit of potatoes, and we put the oven on 400 degrees, so we'll just let it rip in there. And, how about some extra virgin olive oil, some salt, some pepper. Oh, you know what'll be good with this is maybe a little bit of crushed red pepper as well. So what I usually do, I've got a little liner on my pan. Of course, you could do this with parchment paper or a reusable liner like this one. And just kind of, very carefully measure that olive oil. Because I don't...
Say hi to Kathy Shaw.
Hey, Kathy Shaw. Kathy Shaw. Yay. So, yes, how do we get in on your meal prep business there, Kathy? That's what we want to know. We're just right over here in Sandy Springs. My gosh, So, all right. So a little bit of salt, some fresh cracked pepper. You could put any herbs on here. Our rosemary's not quite long enough to chop yet. So we got a little here, but.
Bill Sloggy says, love the taters.
Oh, love the taters. Yeah, I kind of have a love-hate with taters. Like, like the old school big potato, baked potato, roast, it just makes me feel so full. But really funny, I had a client and I was developing recipes a couple years back, and it was a potato salad dressing that they needed me to make potato recipes for, and I had a whole month of eating potatoes. Let's just say it doesn't work well on the triglycerides if you're eating potatoes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? So I do take it a little easy on the potato front here. I do a lot more sweet potatoes than I actually do these kinds of potatoes, but these are just, they're also very versatile, and again, with the leftovers of this, we can put that with our breakfast with our eggs and some Saute instead of like hash browns or something. So I pop those in, and of course always set your timer, because who's got time to remember what time you put those in? All right, so a little bit there. Now next up. So we have some mushrooms. So I had some baby portobello mushrooms, and we've got, I also have these shiitake mushrooms. Now, here's a fun little thing. The shiitakes were in the fridge, and they've been in there for, a good 5 days, and I was like, ooh, gosh, they don't look so good. So I put them in water, and they sprung back to life. So. They're lovely and delicious as well. So now they look really good, and then we'll chop those up, and we're gonna actually saute those in the pan, and then we're gonna put the mushrooms, garlic, onion, and the Swiss chard. I'm gonna chop up the Swiss chard. We're gonna make a nice little saute, and then we're gonna put that on the quinoa. So, and I was gonna do polenta because I did get a CSA delivery, and it was ground polenta. And it's almost like flour. So I was a little apprehensive of making it because it takes 40 minutes to make polenta. And quinoa is only 15 minutes. So I'm just chopping off the little ends, not the whole stem of the little baby bellas. All right, turning down quinoa. My fancy new cover. I don't know where the cover is to this pan, but we're gonna cover that, and let's see, you got a timer?
Cindy said how long for the potatoes?
I put it on for 40 minutes. I put the potatoes on for 40 minutes, kind of depending on how you like them. If you like them really crispy, what you could do as well is you could boil them for a few minutes first, and then put them in the oven, and then they're gonna go faster in the oven. So sometimes I do that with sweet potatoes. You know, if you're in a little bit more of a hurry, it's an extra step, but it will hurry up the roasting process because you just want to get that potato. But those are the mini potatoes, so they do cook quite a bit faster, and then we halved them and all that. So the quinoa is 15 minutes. You got a timer there, time?
Sure.
Timer, you don't, do you? 12 minutes? Okay, can we get that going? All right, so, because,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So my little portobellos, so I'm just gonna half them, and then we can just slice them, put them in here with all of those, lay those down, and you know, it's all about getting some different kinds of produce in your everyday eating lifestyle because, you know, we wanna stay young and fabulous, do we not? I mean, look at all who's on here. You're all young and fabulous, so we love that. All right, so these shiitake mushrooms are a little different than the portobello, and they're wider, flatter, and the stem is a lot skinnier. So that stem got a little dried out, so I'm just gonna chop it about halfway down, maybe. And these are actually locally grown here in Georgia, just like the Swiss Chard has been locally grown. And shiitake, boy, they're, you know, the mushrooms are a little, I feel like they're the forgotten vegetable, don't you? You forget about mushrooms too, don't you? But mushrooms are always good, especially on a steak. How about like a steak from like Murray's? Anyone? Oh gosh, I'm still dreaming about that steak from Murray's. So then the shiitakes will chop up a little easier than the, just because it's flat and you only have one main chop that you need to do. And you will be able to tell the difference when you're sauteing in the pan which ones are shiitake and which ones are portobello. The portobello are a little darker and the shiitake are a little whiter, or a little more tannish white. So mixing that with a little bit of onion and garlic is going to be delish. All right, so we got that. Put the shiitake in our bowl. All right, next up we'll do our onion, and then we'll start our onion in our saute pan. So all y'all went to church, didn't you?
Mike Kelsey's here.
Mike Kelsey! Yay!
And David Johnson.
David Johnson? No way! Come on. You know how many David Johnsons I actually know?
I don't.
I do. I know like 3 David Johnsons. So how about that? All right. So we have our fresh garlic, and always keeping the fresh garlic around because, you know, I gotta keep my special scent.
Yes, we do.
Having scent. All right. So we're gonna get that garlic peeled. And if you haven't bought your peeler, what are you waiting for? I mean, come on. Maybe the Easter Bunny is going to bring it in your Easter basket. So when I was a kid, Easter, you know, I can't get it out of my head. So we'd make our little Easter eggs and color our Easter eggs. And then we'd put out our Easter baskets. And each of us had our own Easter basket. And we put the eggs that we colored and decorated in. And they would sit out for days. And we didn't die from from eggs sitting out, hard-boiled eggs, of course. And anyway, whatever happened to that, you know, letting them sit out for days and days. So, I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah, and chocolate, you know. Oh, I've got to make some chocolate fat bombs. It's like a staple in the freezer, and they're just made with cacao powder. And
Cindy did say she went to mass online today.
oh, did you? Oh, you're so good. Oh, we hopefully got it recorded. So, So we peel our garlic, we'll chop that up, and then we're also gonna get our onion chopped up. You can take any kind of onion. Remember, I keep that other end intact, and we're gonna chop off the little tail end and peel that. But so here's the funny. So I always find it funny that when remember when the movie The Passion came out with Mel Gibson and stuff. I'm like, here is a movie. Only Hollywood can do this. Here's a movie of a story that has been told a bajillion times, and we know the ending of the story. Not like there was a spoiler alert or something, but here's a movie. And then they make this epic movie. It was an amazing movie. And it's just kind of funny how, like, things can be reworked into movie format. And I don't know. It's pretty cool. Are we watching The Passion of Christ tonight?
We might be, sure.
Sure, okay.
Say hello to Trish and to Kathleen McCarthy.
Oh, yay! Woo-woo! All right. Trish Walsh? Or,
Trish Thompson.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody's in Friday night. So, for a month. So, if anything, you'll sure get to know all your people, right? So, all right, so what we're doing, just chopping up the onion. Try to tell stories as I chop up onions and pretend not to cry. Because these onions, here's the great thing about onions. If you learn to chop onions and you do it well and you do it quickly, you don't cry as much. So, all right, so we're gonna just get a nice little chopped onion there. We're gonna put that in our pan, and now we could do a couple of different things with this garlic. I could slice it, and then we're gonna just chop it up. Woo! Here goes those onions.
Joyce Wood said she loves watching you cook.
Oh, really? Wow! Who knew from 7th grade? Remember when we used to play Pong? Oh gosh, that just gives it away.
Never heard of it.
Pong.
That was before my time.
Yeah, right? So it was like, hours on just this one little thing, this one game back when Pong and what else did we do? We used to play Clue. Yeah. Didn't we play Clue? No. Oh, Joyce, you would remember this game. Do you
Monopoly.
remember? Huh?
She said Monopoly.
No. That one, but do you remember the game I had? It was called Masterpiece. It was like you would match up an art and a price tag, and you'd become an art dealer on this board game. I had this game and I loved it. And so the freakiest thing happened. So I was in California back in October for a trade show. So then we went and took a couple extra days and went up to wine country and stuff. And so one of my friends made a hotel reservation for one of the nights. And we get to this little town and we show up at the hotel that we had a reservation at. And I walk in, and the hotel was called Masterpiece. It's in some random city in California. And I look at the walls of the hotel and I'm like, how do I know that painting? How do I know that painting? Like, I was all weirded out because I knew all the paintings on the wall. And I think the game was made after the hotel, or the hotel made the hotel decorations after that game. Something's connected with those two things. I haven't even looked it up yet, but I then looked up. I'm trying to find my old game of Masterpiece because I loved this game. It would be super fun. So it'd actually be a really relevant game right now. So we could sell $1 million pieces of artwork, and then I always loved that one of the cards was forgery. So if you matched it up and you got a whole bunch of money for it, I don't know.
Trish says she still has her cards from Masterpiece.
No way.
And say hello to Trisha Watley.
Oh my gosh, hey Trisha. Wow, I loved that game. Okay, I guess that's what if y'all missed our birthday party, my birthday party, it was a online social distanced birthday party. It was actually really fun. So we had a great time with none of you. No. So, all right, so I'm gonna start over here. I'm just gonna peek over here. Gonna heat up my burner and my pan. So take your pan, that's not olive oil, this is olive oil. So what I'm gonna do first, again, very carefully measure that oil you put in there. And when we heat that up a little bit, we'll put in the onions. And then I don't like to put garlic in for too long because you shouldn't, because it burns in 30 seconds on a hot pan. So you always want to make sure something else is in your pan before you add garlic. So I don't know, it seems like a lot of people just add garlic when they just have oil in there. And then if you burn your garlic, it's going to be bitter, and then that's no fun. So, all right. And want to get one more chopping board here. And I'm gonna pull out our Swiss chard. Look at that, gorgeous. Georgia grown right here. We rinsed that, put it in a nice little glass for y'all to display how beautiful it is. All right, so here's an easy little thing. I do keep the stems, and I do use the stems in the pan. So I kind of roll it up like that. And this is an easy way to do a lot of different greens that are big and leafy and you kind of don't know what to do with them. You can kind of chop them a little bit down here. And we also do want to use those stems because the stems are the kind of like the information superhighway of nutrition. So if your vegetable is in the dirt, it's got roots, and then it comes up through the stem and it goes to the leaves. I'm gonna cut off the ends of that. You can get all those nutrition elements. Same with like broccoli stems. Never throw that stuff out. I mean, it's all, yeah.
For the people that just joined us, can you review again what you're making this evening?
Oh, I would be happy to. So we have some roasted baby potatoes in the oven. We've just halved those, put some olive oil, some salt and pepper on those. We have some quinoa cooking. Quinoa, 15 minutes start to finish, stovetop. And right now we're making some like a mushroom saute with some fresh Swiss chard. And we'll saute that up. We'll saute up the onion, and then we'll add a little bit of the fresh garlic, and then we're going to saute the mushrooms, and then we're just going to put the Swiss chard on the end because it just takes a second to wilt it. So, and you could use different things besides Swiss chard. You could use spinach. You could use arugula. Oh, if you get fresh arugula from the farmer's market, that's the best when the arugula leaves are nice and big. It's my favorite. All right. So, who else has joined us? Anybody?
Trisha had that question.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Trisha and Joyce, sorry.
Awesome. And we're just saying also, when you make roasted potatoes, you can make a whole batch, and then you can save some for breakfast for tomorrow and put them with your eggs and things like that. So, always using fresh garlic, 1 onion, you know, it's just like we're using all the things that we already have, so we didn't have to go out of the house today. So we did go to the patio, and we got some vitamin D because we sat out in the sun. It was about 70 degrees today. So perfect.
Lisa Pressmano says looks delicious. Looks delicious.
And it smells delicious. All right.
Indeed.
So we're gonna sprinkle in our little bit of garlic. So that garlic, of course, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and perfectly anti-friendly for these times of social distancing. maybe we should get some beverages going or something. Anyone? Anyone? Can I get you a drink? Can I get you a drink? Can I get you a drink? Yeah. So.
Bueller.
Bueller? Yeah. All right. So see our onions, just 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes on onions always. About 30 seconds after you put that garlic in, we're going to put in our baby portobello mushrooms and our shiitake mushrooms. And you know, if you have some red wine, you could also put that in here as well. I almost need a bigger pan. But, oh man. So, our friend Caroline just did a concert on the street. We didn't get to see it. We saw it on Facebook Live, and oh my gosh, it was awesome. And she does some rockabilly kind of stuff, and her voice is amazing. Caroline and the Ramblers, if you haven't seen them.
Check them out. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're in Atlanta, so the Atlanta area. You know what that's the sound of? All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. I think there's little technical difficulties with the salt. The wine. You getting that all right? Have you done this before? Well, I have a glass for you, a glass for you, a glass for you. It's a party. All right. So what is that? We got a little Jack's.
Did somebody say wine?
What? I heard you. All right. So we're just gonna get this a nice little saute on there. How are we doing on our quinoa timer?
You're good. Should be good now.
Okay. Can I get that little bottle there? I'm gonna pour a little in here. Okay. You know, I don't usually put the expensive wine in food, but I'm under duress here. That's all I got. This is a really nice bottle. This is Jack's, J-A-X. It's a cab. It's a Napa cab. And I'm putting it in food, I know. Don't waste it. It's just, you know, makes really rich food then, you know? So, all right. Ooh, yum. So, what I may have to do, this pan, I kind of feel like I need a bigger pan. So, kind of like needing a bigger boat. All right. So I'm going to check my quinoa. Now here's a little trick when you're checking your quinoa. So, when you take your cover up, you take a spoon or a spatula and you move the quinoa to the side and make sure the bottom of the pan is dry. If the bottom of the pan is dry, then your quinoa is done. So, I can turn that up. And you can just let it sit and it'll still fluff, and because it's all about the fluff, right? So, here we're going to take our greens, pop them right in here, stem and all. I like the stem. The stem on Swiss Chard is kind of like a celery, but not the same flavor. So pretty much not the same flavor at all. And so it's always about using your vegetables from, you know, I was going to say nose to tail, but there's no tail. How about stem to root, root to stem, leaf, root to leaf. How does that go? Yeah. So. All right, so you can put different seasonings in here. I'm just using sea salt, and I'll use some fresh cracked pepper. What else I'll use is some crushed red chili peppers. How about that? Crushed chili flake. That'll be delicious in there, because we kind of like to spice it up around here. You know what I'm talking about. Ooh. Yeah.
Say hello to Debbie Rayner, who says, I love listening to you cook and teach. Can't wait until I can come to another in-class.
Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, I was supposed to be teaching in St. Simon's on the 25th. So, you know, unless, you know, the good Lord hears our prayers, and maybe something will happen sooner than later. Not sooner than the 25th, but perhaps in May. So, St. Simon's Island is just awesome to go to. So, love that. All right. A little fresh cracked pepper. So, it's all about getting all your fruits and vegetables every day. As a matter of fact, on next week, the main thing got canceled, but I'm actually going to be one of the Produce for Better Health ambassadors in action. So I'm going to be pushing fruits and vegetables even more than I already do. So that'll be kind of fun. So I'm going to turn off the heat on that. I'm going to get our quinoa. And how about a nice sized bowl? Here. This is pretty easy. So we're going to put our quinoa in here. Grab your little rubber spatula, get it all out of there. So at the end of the day, quinoa, if you don't use it all for one dish, you can keep this in the fridge, and you can, you know, if you don't put any oil or seasonings in it, you can change it up. You could actually use this as breakfast cereal as well. So put cinnamon, apples, stuff like that in there. So let's see, a little extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna again use the lemon vinegar, some extra virgin olive oil. Just kind of sprinkle that in there. A little bit of sea salt as well. And this Sicilian lemon white balsamic vinegar. I get this at my friend's olive oil vinegar store down in St. Simon's. So if you are ever at the coast of Georgia, you have to go stop in there, come take a class, you know. All right, so I'm just gonna pop some salt on here. And I'm gonna put, it's kind of like making a little grain bowl. So it's always nice to make your food look appealing as well and get all the colors of the rainbow in there. So we're just gonna pop this in the bottom of our bowl. And we can put as many different things on there as you like. So fresh, cooked, whatever you want. We do a lot of these bowls because they're easy to do, and they're usually delicious and fresh and filling. Looks a little bit like some Chinese takeout here. I just don't have a box to put it in. Would it taste better if I put it in a box? You know. So I could also use leftover onions and mushrooms here, and we could fold that into an omelet tomorrow. So yes, I like that response. Ooh, doesn't this look pretty? So you don't have to cook mushrooms very long. You don't have to cook greens very long, but these are also very important for your everyday eating lifestyle. Oh wow, I do good work. Sometimes I surprise myself. All right, little salt. And I think I'm gonna just put in a little bit more, a little spice here. And you could use cayenne, and you know, if you wanted to change the dish a little bit, you could use some toasted sesame oil if you want to go down that flavor profile. And this one, of course, we use the Sicilian lemon, white balsamic vinegar, some extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper. I keep it pretty basic all the time, but you got garlic and olive oil and onion in there, so you are involving a lot of different vegetables in there. So don't be afraid of vegetables, because you're not going to get out of this life without eating your vegetables. I've been preaching this for a long time, and as you know, I'm 84 years old, and I look pretty good.
What?
Oh, yeah, no, actually, that's my mom is 84, but cheers to y'all. And I think dinner is served. Any last requests? Oh, I still have the potatoes in the oven. So those are looking pretty. I've got 14 minutes left on those. They actually look pretty good already. So because they're those little baby potatoes, they cook a lot faster. And I could actually kind of zhuzh those up with a little bit more salt. And those will be lovely and delicious as well. But we'll give those a few more minutes. And I would say happy Good Friday. As you notice, there's no meat today because I grew up Catholic, and this looks very meaty, however, because it's all mushroom. But anyway, hope everybody's doing great out there. Stay strong, keep your immunity up, and go have some fun. Let's hear it for the live music. So turn on your Facebook Lives and play some music. Everybody's out there playing music. The one I really liked was the Jimmy Fallon. They did "Don't Stand So Close to Me" with Sting. That was really pretty good. And they did it all by Zoom. So it's really, I love creativity of how people do their stuff. So anyway, hope to see you all very, very soon. Come visit us in Atlanta. We'll have a big party, and we'll what's that?
Happy Easter.
Oh, happy
everybody.
Easter! Yeah, it's and soon we will all be back to life as we know it. We'll just all have cleaner hands and warmer hearts. All right. So happy Easter, and we'll see you soon. All right. Bye.